What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with BLU V91 tips, tricks, and hidden features. So let's get started. Now definitely make sure to take a look at all the various content I've done so far and am going to be doing in the future regarding this phone. I've already done my unboxing video, but also I have a pros and cons video coming out, and I also have the full review coming out shortly as well. So definitely quite a bit of content about this phone here on the channel. Now with the BLU V91, we do have the traditional 3-button Android navigation as the default here. But if you want to, you can switch it over to gesture navigation. Now to do this, you're going to pull down the shade. You're going to go to the gear right here, which is the settings. Then from here, you're going to go up to search, type in nav, and give it a second. And you'll see right here, navigation bar. So from here, we actually have quite a few different customizations available. First thing is that you can see, by default, we do have the 3-button navigation selected here. But if you want to, you can hide that. So you get this little arrow, and if you tap on that arrow, it does hide the bar. And then if you want to bring it back, you just swipe up from the bottom. And you can do this anywhere throughout the operating system. So it's kind of a cool way to get a more immersive full screen experience, but at the same time, the navigation bar is still very easy to access. In addition to that, we also have the gesture navigation. So if you switch to gesture navigation, you'll see that now the 3 buttons are now gone at the bottom of the phone, and instead we just have this little line here. So essentially, to go home, you swipe up. To go to your recent apps, you swipe partially up, and it's right there. And then to go back, you swipe from the side. So it's not for everybody, definitely for more advanced smartphone users, but it is cool that we do have the option here. And then in addition to that, you can tap on the gear and adjust the sensitivity. So if you want to make it really sensitive, you can do that. And if you want to make it less sensitive, you can do that too. But I'm going to go back to the 3-button navigation for now. And from here, we have another option. So if you want to have the back button be on the right side and then have the recent apps on the left side, you can switch that around. So that's pretty cool. You can also change the background color of the actual navigation bar itself. So by default, it is set to transparent, but you have a bunch of different options to change the color, which is pretty cool. And you also have an entire color panel as well. So you can pretty much pick any color of the rainbow to use as the navigation bar color. So that's some really cool customization. I actually don't even see that very often. And you can see though in certain situations it shows up and in other situations it doesn't. So if we go to the camera app, for example, you can see that the bottom bar is actually black, but then if you go to Google Chrome, it is purple, which is the color I set it to. So it is a little bit disappointing that it's not really universal, where anywhere throughout the phone, it stays that same color, but at least you can still customize it a little bit. But I'm gonna switch back to white for now. So definitely a lot of different options here when it comes to customizing the navigation bar. Now with the BLU V91, by default, we don't get a battery percentage up in the corner. Now, if you do pull down the shade, the percentage does show up. You can see that we are at 91% battery. But if you want to have that show at all times, I'll show you how to do that. So pull down the shade, go to the gear right there, the settings, and then type in battery. Okay. And then you're going to go right here to battery. And you can see there's battery percentage, and you can now toggle that on. So now, no matter where you are throughout the operating system, the percentage will always be in the upper right corner. So it definitely is a nice way to know exactly how much battery is left in the actual phone itself. Now, in addition to that, we have some other functions here too. So there is battery saver, and this is enabled by default, but essentially the battery saver will turn off once the phone is recharged up to 90%. So if it's been a long day and you're not sure when you're gonna be able to find another outlet to charge up the phone, then you definitely might wanna consider using battery saver. Or if you're out camping or something like that, and you still wanna have your phone powered on so you can take pictures and videos, but you also don't want the battery to drain very quickly, then battery saver would also come in handy in that situation too. And then you can see right here, we do have battery manager. So what's cool about battery manager, which is also enabled by default, is that if it detects that there's a certain app on your phone that is draining way more battery than the other apps, then you do have the option to restrict those apps. Now with the BLU V91, there are a variety of different methods to take a screenshot. So the first method is very simple. You just hold the volume down and power button at the same time for a second here. And now it took the screenshot. And there it is right there. So you can share, edit, or delete it if you want to. But also, we're going to pull down the shade and go to the settings for this next one. But this phone does support 3-finger screenshot too. So type in 3, and you'll see right there, 3-finger screenshot. This is under the Intelligent Assistance menu. So with 3-finger screenshot, all you have to do is swipe down with 3 fingers on the display. And now I took a screenshot. And you can do this anywhere, so we'll do it right here as well. There we go. So that's actually probably quicker and easier than using the button method. But you do have to enable that. And while we're here, there are also some other cool features too that you might want to keep in mind. So this one's enabled by default. Essentially, if you double press on the power button in any part of the operating system, it will jump over to the camera. So there we go. And actually in this situation, since I do have Snapchat installed, I can select Snapchat as the default. So that's pretty cool, especially if you are a pretty regular Snapchat user. There is a very easy way to access that. There's also some other cool features too. So there's lift to wake. So essentially if the phone's display is off and you lift it up, it will wake it up, as you just saw right there. We also have 3-finger skid to start split screen. So if you want to go into split screen mode where you have one app on the top and one app on the bottom, you can enable that and then swipe up with 3 fingers and it quickly takes you over to there. So we'll go over to Google Chrome and you can see now I have the settings up top and Chrome on the bottom. So another very quick and easy way to get to this function of the phone. And then to get out of this, all you have to do is just drag up or drag down for whichever app you want to take over. And we also have flip to silent. So if you have a phone call coming in and you don't want to answer it and you also want it to be silent, then you can just flip the phone and it will put the call on silent. So that's pretty awesome. Now you probably have noticed that pre-installed here in the phone is this function called Discover Bar. Now I don't really see that being useful at all. I already can easily get to all my various apps. So you might want to consider possibly turning this off. Technically it is a notification, but it's there at all times. So if you turn off notifications for the Discover Bar, then it will disappear forever, which is pretty nice. Now, just like many other Android phones, when you pull down the shade, there are a lot of different toggles here to do various things with the phone. So there's Bluetooth, sound, flashlight, but there's some other really interesting ones too. And I also want to mention as well that if you do want to modify these, maybe remove some or even add some in, you just tap on this pen right here in the corner, and you can see that there are some different ones that you can add. And then if you want to remove any of these, you can just drag them down and remove them. But this one is especially interesting, and this is Super Screenshot. Essentially, if you enable Super Screenshot, you're going to have this module right here at all times. But essentially, it's a very easy and quick way to take a screenshot and also gives you a bunch of different options as well. So for example, if you want to quickly screen record, there's screen record right there. You can also do a long screenshot. So if you want to take a screenshot of an entire web page, you can do that there. And if you want to move this around, you tap on move. And then if you tap on this one on the bottom that says funny, essentially you can actually take screenshots where you just crop in on a certain area if you want to, or you can also do a lasso screenshot. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. So definitely kind of a unique, different type of option here in the settings and something that you probably will want to be aware of. And for the final thing that I want to show you, you might already be familiar with this, but I do want to point a few things out. It would be nice if they labeled everything because not everyone is a very proficient smartphone user. So for example, this button right here actually activates the ultra wide angle camera. And then this button up here activates portrait mode. And then you go over to the More tab to access the macro camera. So as you've probably noticed, we have tons of different cameras here in the phone, and you have to go to all kinds of different places to access them. Now, that's not necessarily a deal breaker when it comes to deciding to actually buy the phone, but I just wanted to point that out so that you're not confused. And then when you do flip around to the front-facing camera, you use that same button up top here to access portrait mode. And then you have to tap on it again to disable it. But these are tips, tricks, and hidden features for the new BLU V91. We went through a variety of different things, like how to see the battery percentage, how to take a screenshot, how to modify the navigation bar, a lot of different things that I definitely feel like you want to know if you are getting this phone. But if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, make sure to sub to the channel, and let me know what other content you'd like to see me make about the BLU V91 or other smartphones as well. But this is Kevin here, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.